Hello, Margaret Munoz here. I want to tell you today about using EFT tapping to support yourself during pregnancy. It's obviously been a long time since I was pregnant, and I would very much have liked to have had tapping to use when I was pregnant and giving birth, and also when I supported two friends during their birth process. I think it doesn't matter how excited or joyful you are at being pregnant, it can be a really confronting, scary experience, both in a first pregnancy when it's completely new and foreign experience, but also if you've had challenging times in a prior pregnancy. And also if the pregnancy comes as an unwanted surprise, then all the shock and other feelings that arise need to be moved through. It's a time of emotional ups and downs, hormonal shifts, big physical changes, lots of questions, and preparing to welcome a new life. So it can bring about quite a lot of stress and anxiety. Fortunately, there's lots of things you can do to help yourself, as well as receiving help from other people. EFT tapping, I think, is one of those things, and it's very special for a number of reasons. You can work with a qualified practitioner, but you can also use it on a day-to-day basis yourself. Importantly, it's non-invasive, which of course is a major factor during pregnancy, and wonderfully, it helps to reduce the stress hormones and shifts you from the flight-fight response and into the parasympathetic nervous system, where you feel more relaxed, calm and grounded. And because a calm mother is good for the health of a growing baby, that's what we want. You can use it in the moment on troubling symptoms, mental, emotional, physical. And you can also use it to deal with any deeper issues that crop up, and there can be a heap of those. Pregnancy often triggers things from your own childhood that have lain dormant and then suddenly become alive. So EFT is very flexible in that way and always available at your fingertips. Now, my mission is to encourage people to tap on stuff they might not think about tapping on. The founder of EFT, Gary Craig, had a saying, try it on everything. So I'm going to give you some more suggestions on what you could tap on to support yourself. I think pregnancy is one of those things that nothing can prepare you for. Really, you just have to learn on the job. So you may want to tap on not knowing what to do and having that be okay in the moment, being willing to wait until the answer comes to you. Now these days, as I discovered when my daughter was pregnant, there's so much information available, and people around you may have their own opinions on what you should do. So tapping on information overload and overwhelm can be really good and calming, and also help you to set boundaries with other people. And I think an affirmation such as, I make the right choices for me, while you're tapping around, can be very helpful. We need reassurance. You could tap on, I choose to reassure myself that all will be well and I'm doing this okay. Some people will want to tell you about their experiences. Now, if those are good experiences, that's great, but not so good if they share stories about complications, terrible pain, things not going according to plan, etc., etc. So you want to tap on these. You don't want them to stick. You don't want to be laying awake at night worrying about other people's experiences. So you could do something like, even though Susan really upset me, I choose to know that that was her experience and not mine. And if you want, you can tap out her story. You know, she said blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah, and keep tapping until you've reduced all the emotional charge over whatever happened to her. The circumstances of your own birth might come up, as I've mentioned, either from what your mother or somebody else has shared with you previously, or perhaps something comes up now that you're pregnant. There can be quite a lot of complexity around that. So you could seek a practitioner if something like that shows up. I do matrix birth re-imprinting with people. So we work together to re-imprint on their brain a completely positive, wonderful experience of their own birth. I seldom cry when I'm working with people, but with re-imprinting births, it's usually so beautiful that I can really choke up and struggle to speak sometimes. So it's always a joy to do those. As the body changes, oftentimes tapping can reduce physical discomfort by easing the tension that is created in the body with these unfamiliar things happening. The way you can do this is to focus on where the discomfort is, what the sensation is, rather, like stabbing, aching, heavy, tight, and give it an intensity rating of 1 to 10 so that you can see how you're going, and then tap on, for example, even though I have this ache in my hip, I choose to love and accept my body. And then you can tap around with a very simple reminder statement. This ache in my hip, this ache in my hip, this ache in my hip. Do a round or two and then check out the intensity again. Sometimes with body aches and pains, when you tap, the pain can shift or change how it feels. And so what you do is chase the pain. So the next round of tapping you do reflects a new situation. And you keep tapping until you get the intensity rating down really low, or even better, it disappears altogether. You can tap very specifically on other things too, like nausea and morning sickness, high blood pressure, headaches, swollen hands and feet. Because pregnancy hormones can bring about sudden mood swings, it's important for you to acknowledge how you feel with no judgment. That's why the statement of acceptance is so important in tapping, because we're often so critical of ourselves. And you can tap to release those emotions in a healthier, more mindful way than you might have done otherwise. As I've said, EFT tapping works to balance the stress response and regulates the nervous system, so you can use it on all your fears and anxieties. It's very normal to be anxious when you're carrying a baby and about giving birth. And what I recommend is that you make a list of all the things you're worried about, from losing the baby to not being able to cope. So it might be a really long list once you get it on paper. That's okay, better out than in, the saying goes. All the things you feel fearful about, and all those negative what ifs, what if this happens, what if that happens. And mind can get on quite a roll, can't it? What you can then do is gradually make your way through this list one at a time, tap, tap, tap. And only do a few a day so you don't go into overload. you want to tap on each one until you get the emotional charge right the way down or even gone. It's particularly important if you've had a miscarriage or previously difficult birth that you tap to release all the emotions around those events. And remember to add on the fears around how you're going to adjust and adapt to having a baby and living a completely new life. If something untoward crops up, tap on that as soon as you can. And you can also use tapping to self-regulate when perhaps somebody like a midwife, nurse, doctor upsets you with what they say, or a relative perhaps. You can also tap on regrets and sadness. Perhaps somebody didn't live to be able to see your child or isn't able to be there with you or for you. It's really important to acknowledge this and really feel into that and process it. Sleep can become an issue as your body changes shape and your belly grows. So tapping before bedtime to calm your mind over what's happened during the day, but also to tap on how you feel about not being able to lie this way or that way or waking up to go to the toilet however many times. Tapping on it can relieve the annoyance and irritation and upset around it. It won't necessarily help you lie in a comfortable position, but it can take away a lot of the angst around that and hence help you to sleep better. You want to be gentle. Your body becomes more sensitive, so even tap gently. Be kind. Listen to your body, speak to it. And if intense emotions come up, know that they will pass. Keep tapping, but also get professional help if you need. Pregnancy is a time of immense transformation. A miracle is happening. And also your life will never be the same again. So I encourage you to use tapping to empower yourself, to calm yourself, to find courage and strength, and to engender compassion for this incredible journey that you're on. I hope some of those tips have been useful to you. I've also made a video about tapping during birth, which you might find helpful. I wish you well on your journey, as always. Bye-bye.